My name is Erika Hill, and I'm the CEO of Vision Street Research, LLC. Growing up, I had a father that was an entrepreneur, and while he did electrical contracting by day for like a 9 to 5, he started his own business, Norman L. Hill and Sons, and he would always train like young boys, either his customers, kids, or just kids that would just be asking questions. And one of the things I just always remember is that he really enjoyed his work and that he really felt good about making like a lasting impact on people. So that kind of stuck with me. Like, well, maybe one day I could start a business. And really through going to undergrad at an HBCU where you're in the midst of, the hood, I was able to get exposed to the value of an impact you can make working with young people. So I actually tutored kids as part of a project called Project Excellence. And that was only for 20 hours for my freshman year, but that was like, wait, I kind of like doing this. I like volunteering. So I did that. I did feed the homeless. I went on to work at United Way. So all of these jobs and experiences I was having early on in my career or in my life, I kept thinking like, I really want to be able to do more. Like, I just feel like there's not enough being done and I want to be able to do more. I worked at a women and children's shelter and had to send people away with their kids in the middle of the night. That frustrated me. Like, why don't they have access? And it was really at that point that I realized I needed to be able to be in a position where I could be influencing the decisions and the decision makers. So working at an organization that was on the ground providing direct service was great, but I realized I wasn't able to have as much impact as I wanted to have in terms of giving those organizations the access and opportunities to resources for them to actually thrive and be self-sufficient. I went to grad school at Rutgers in New Brunswick and studied city and regional planning, and I focused on community economic development and affordable housing. And it was after I graduated, which ironically on Sunday was 11 years ago. I can't believe it's been 11 years since I got the degree, that I really, it clicked like, wait, I have enough knowledge, expertise. Now I have 4 letters behind my name, which while I don't think it should mean anything, I knew that having MCRP behind my name as a Black person, as a Black woman, meant that I was now gonna have greater access and opportunity to the doors, to the rooms, to the tables that I needed to be at in order to advocate for the people that I cared about. So I started Vision Street Research in 2012. I literally could not find a job in sight when I graduated from Bloustein. And I was determined to go back to Atlanta at first, which is really my second home. I took a job making $14 an hour. That's how committed I was to, I need to get out of New York. Love my hometown, but needed to go. And I went to work for NeighborWorks America as part of their community scholars program. It was the best experience I've had by far in terms of an internship. And that really opened up the doors to this whole discussion about racial equity and being able to close the racial wealth gap and being able to really understand how there can be a spatial mismatch where in Atlanta, I-20, for people that may be from Atlanta, kind of divides. There are jobs on one end of I-20 and then transportation's on the other. Unfortunately, they're not in the same place, which means for Black people, they can't get to the jobs, right, which leaves them in a very bad position in terms of being able to have income, access, be able to generate generational wealth. Like all of those things are just not even possible because of structurally the way things have been set up, right? It wasn't by accident. It was by design that Atlanta's the way it is, and it separates. It's literally like a line in the sand between Black people and everybody else, and in terms of where all the resources are that could really help them thrive. So I worked for an organization called Partnership for Southern Equity. They were actually my very first client as a small business owner. And I was their project coordinator and then later their project manager. And I was able to be part of a really historical event. They put together a Metro Atlanta Equity Atlas. It was the first equity atlas of its type in the region. It was launched in 2014. I was able to kind of use some of those skills that I learned in grad school, the community outreach, some of the stuff I learned from United Way in terms of like a youth poetry contest. We had one to have people explain like what equity means to them. We engaged not only high school students, but also college students. I was able to use Black-owned businesses as part of the project. So all the things that people may know me for today, I started doing it in 2014 in Atlanta. It's like, no, but I really want to help my people. Like, I'm a Black woman in this country. So I want to help people that look like me and go through some of the same struggles that I've gone through as an entrepreneur, as a Black person, especially coming from Long Island, where I faced and experienced quite a few things just because of the way Long Island is set up. And I've been here since 2016. I had the pleasure of working at Sustainable Long Island, where I kind of got reacquainted with Long Island. I had interned there as a grad student and was able to come back and be a project director there and work on some of the projects that I had worked on as an intern, like the farmers market, where that is one of the first opportunities where I learned more about, okay, there's better things happening in Roosevelt. Like, they're trying to give them access to healthy foods and using the farmers market and using youth, and how much the community really cared about the fact that the market was being run by kids. They did surveys that I analyzed, and that's what it talked about. Like, they liked that it was kids running it, and they also liked that the food was being locally grown, right? You're not getting food from someplace else. It's on the island where you're bringing food, and the fact that they were able to use all different types of payment in order to get it. So it wasn't only accessible to people that had money. If you had SNAP or EBT, you could still be able to access healthy foods, to take care of you and your family. So that was a great experience. It's actually the experience that led me to meet some phenomenal people like Jacob Dixon and Dr. Martine Hackett, to name a few, through the work with LifeCarp and just the advocacy around public health, and again, the social determinants of health, right? It's not just about having access to healthcare. It's also having access to parks like St. Francis and Principal Hudson, who's one of my fellow honorees. All of these things are all intertwined. They're not in silos. They actually all connect together. And it's that connectivity and kind of intersectionality that really helps me stay motivated and stay in this work, because I know that I'm able to provide research that can make an impact. And I know that I can support organizations like Choice for All or Morrison Mentors or Minority Millennials in order to make data-driven decisions. Because at the end of the day, the money is where the outcomes are. And we need to all be really working towards how do we be able to show the people who have the money how the outcomes are being achieved, right? It's not just about, oh, this is a really cute program, they do really nice things. No, when young people leave these programs, they come out better. They come out able to take care of their families. They come out able to take care of themselves. And then, quite frankly, they come out able to kind of reverse some of the generational curses that their parents and grandparents may have been a part of. So I feel like I'm just really committed to the cause and to my local community, and I would say to the community at large in terms of closing the racial wealth gap. My name is Erika Hill, CEO of Vision Street Research, LLC, and I'm honored to be a social justice champion.